BWOne here from BWOne.com. I'm going to give you my review of the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play for Verizon. Now, the Xperia Play is the first PlayStation certified phone out in the market. I've been playing it for a little while here. I want to give you guys my thoughts on it here, so we're going to do a quick review. First thing we're going to do is go over the hardware. Right here in the front you have a 4-inch LCD display. Looks sharp, looks really clear. You're going to notice that when we turn on the phone, you see sort of the menu and some of the games there. The screen really looks good. You would expect that from a Sony product. Right here on the top, you do have a front-facing VGA camera for video chat. Right here at the bottom, you have physical menu buttons for back, home, menu, and search. You can see it's a little bit thicker of a phone, and you'll see why it's thicker in just a moment. It's not too heavy, but there's a little bit of weight here, kind of right here in the center of it, but you'll see why all of that's there in a second here. And then you have a 3.5mm headphone jack. You have your micro USB port for charging and syncing. At the top here, you have your power button. Right here on this side, you have your L and R buttons, and you have your volume buttons here. On the back, you have a 5-megapixel camera with flash. Now, the picture quality is pretty decent. You know, Sony put some pretty good cameras inside of their phones, and the image quality is pretty good. They didn't make this an HD video camera, which is kind of disappointing considering this is supposed to be sort of a high-end phone here, and they didn't include HD video capture with it. So we didn't do a video capture with it because it's only 480p, but we did do some camera snapshots. You can check that in the written review, so just hit the link in the description for that at the end of the video, and you can see what the test pictures look like. And it's pretty good, you know. Sony Ericsson, they put good cameras inside their phones. On this side, you have the microphone port, and then this is the battery latch here for the battery door. We'll pop that open here. You can see the battery. It's a 1500 milliamp hour battery. Battery life is pretty decent. It's actually one of the better battery lives on an Android phone, especially Android 2.3 that this comes with. I was able to get a full day's charge, and gaming. If you do a lot of gaming with it, you're gonna have to look for the charger during the day. I did a decent amount of gaming and probably got through about a half to 3/4 of the day before needing to charge it. But with moderate usage of just, you know, as a phone and as gaming, you can go about a full day. And right here at the top is your micro SD card slot, which is pre-installed with an 8GB SD card, micro SD card. All right. And it snaps back on just like that. And big thing about this is right there, the slide up PlayStation certified keyboard. Now, Sony is apparently supposed to be allowing us on other manufacturers to make PlayStation certified hardware. You'll see the type of logo on it here. But you get a full D-pad, full PlayStation buttons. You get touch analog controls, which is a little interesting. You get a menu button here, and then start and select right here on each side here. So now you can see why it's so thick, because if it didn't have the control, this would actually be a really thin phone. But this is all about gaming with this phone, so that's why you have the PlayStation certified controller right there at the bottom. Alright, so that's pretty much the hardware to it. It does come with a 1 GHz processor and a 205 Adreno GPU for the graphics on it. So let's power it on real quick and take a look at the software and games. The Sony Xperia Play runs stock Gingerbread with just a few custom widgets here. This is a widget that they provide. You can move this clock widget around. Just kind of blends in with the background. But you have 5 home screens. Like I said, it's stock Android 2.3 Gingerbread. Not much in terms of customization. It's pretty much exactly as you see it. The camera application, which we'll show you here. Just a stock camera application. Nothing special with it. So you're getting stock with this, which is okay, and a lot of purists are going to like that stock feature as well. But I think with a little timescape customization, it can make this phone stand out a little bit better. I'll kind of explain that as I wrap up my review at the end here. But the biggest thing about it here, it's obviously the games. So slide up that keyboard, it brings up this not keyboard but controller, brings up the Xperia Play game menu. And you have some pre-installed games here. You have 6 games that are pre-installed. When you first try to hit one of these games, you're gonna have to download some content via Wi-Fi to it to get the game started. But these are the pre-installed games with it. And if you hit more games, you can actually access more games right here. And if you tap on any of the games, it'll actually open up to the VCast app, so you can download it directly from via VCast app. So there is no PSN connection, which is pretty disappointing. It's a Sony phone that has PlayStation controls on it, but you can't connect to the PlayStation Network to grab games off of there. Boot up one of the games real quick. Games on here look pretty decent. I mean, certain games look pretty much like PlayStation port. Like Crash Bandicoot's pretty much gonna look like a PlayStation 1 port. There's some other games like Asphalt 6 and such that do look a little bit better. And we'll play this just real quickly here. The old PlayStation logo. Turn down the volume just a little bit, because it can get a little distorted when it's all the way up. Just kind of show you guys how this works. You can see the controls. This doesn't support any analog controls because it's a PS1 game. But if you had analog controls on it, if the game supported analog controls rather, you'd be able to use it. You can see here the graphics. Just kind of running through. Crash Bandicoot. You can see sort of how the game controls and the game plays. So that's just a quick gameplay through. If you hit the menu button, it brings up the Android information here, and you can basically go through, you can quit, BWOne, controller settings, screen mode, and you can reset the game via that way. If you close the controller down, you can hit home. It'll pretty much bring you out of it back here to the main screen, but the game will still be running in the background, so if you hit that, it'll open up the game again, you can continue playing again. But that is basic gameplay there. Like I said, you have Crash Bandicoot, Madden, Asphalt 6, Bruce Lee. Those games were available side of it. And there's more games that you can download as well too. But it's really disappointing there's no PSN connection. I wish they'd be able to get you that. As far as the phone is concerned, which it is a phone, which is probably one of the more important features of it, call quality is good, audio quality is great on it. I was able to connect to people, didn't have any dropped calls. And overall, it was a good experience with it. So the Sony Xperia Play, it's an interesting device. I think it's good in some instances. I think it's lacking in some other areas too. I think the fact that it's a 3G only phone is a little bit disappointing, since you might want to do some online gaming. Some of these games might take a lot of bandwidth with it. No PSN connection is also disappointing as well too. And just being stock, it's kind of interesting. I like the fact that it's stock, but then again, it doesn't help it sort of compete against the iPhone, which I feel like where this is trying to compete against. It's trying to get those gamers that want the game, the phone, the music, all their media within all in one device, and that's something that the iPhone provides. With this just having the stock music player and the stock video player and stuff like that, doesn't really help with that experience. I really think, they should really have added timekeep UI to some elements to it. I know some of you, hardcore Google purists might not like that, but I think adding sort of Sony's media player with video and music and stuff, and that would probably help it compete better against the iPhone, which does all those things over there and does it pretty well. This obviously does gaming a whole lot better, but doing the gaming and then having all those other additional things with it, doing it pretty decently, would really help the phone sales with this. I think on the AT&T version of this phone that's been recently announced that you're going to get timescape on that one, so it might fare a little bit better against the iPhone in that case. But overall, the Xperia Play, I like it. I like the idea. This is a good first try from Sony, but I think a second revision is needed with a little bit more thought on sort of a little bit thinner hardware, maybe a little bit more customization within Android to bring those media features out a little bit better. And I think they'd be able to compete better that way. So this is BWOne here from BWOne.com, reminding you, subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, become a fan of our Facebook fan page, check out our written review at our main site at BWOne.com. All the links to those will be in the description box of this video. And always remember to live your tech world in high definition.